to the STB as in Bang podcast. And I actually have a special guest here today. I usually do this solo. As you guys know, my first ever episode, I did it with one of my good friends who knows me very well. And this gentleman knows me pretty well as well. And the only difference is he doesn't know the one thing that I basically hid from the world for the last 4 years. And he's someone that's been on one of my other podcasts that's all about like mindset, business success. This podcast is a little bit different, Corbin. So you guys, this is Corbin Cross, one of my good friends out here in Sacramento, California, entrepreneur, just a hustler. He has his own podcast that he's coming out with very soon. So look out for that. And I have him here today because, well, we were just talking about the podcast and basically making shit happen in 2023. And I told him, hey, like I'm going to be doing my podcast on Monday, come through. And I wanted him to sit in on it because you and I haven't had this conversation. Right. I don't know if anyone's told you this. I highly doubt it.
Probably not.
But I created this podcast, which is going to kind of reveal itself in a second. But for the last 4 years, I've been building my business, which obviously is in like the short-term rental space, right? And then I had my full-time job aside from that in event planning and like event space and raising money for nonprofits, right?
Right.
Well, that job wasn't a lie. I had that job back in 2018. But after that job ended in 2018, I ended up stripping for 4 years.
What?
I was a stripper.
Oh my God.
Did you know that?
No.
Nobody told you?
I never got the hint. No.
Never even got a hint?
No.
Never had any idea.
No. I mean, if I can say maybe when, you was in Vegas, maybe I probably can tell, but I never put two and two together.
Okay, that's good to know.
Dang, how did that make you feel?
That's a good question. I mean, it made me feel great, I guess you could say. I did it for 4 years because it was more so like my back was against the wall in a sense. I had heard of other girls doing it, but everything that they had ever told me about it never caught my eye. It never attracted me at all. Never once was I like, oh, I want to go be a stripper. But when I didn't have that job any longer in the event space, I was like, oh, well, where can I go where I can make a lot of money, make it the same day, and travel? And I was like, oh, a stripper. So I ended up just going and auditioning by myself during the daytime.
Where'd you go?
So I ended up going to this place in, and I don't say names of strip clubs I don't want.
Or you said Area City.
Yeah, so I went to audition at like a nude club in San Francisco at night during amateur. It was like amateur hour, whatever, amateur.
So it was going to your mind an amateur night.
Amateur night, you know that.
I know. I know a lot about that industry.
Do you? Oh, well, okay. Wait. Oh my God, I remember you talking about this. Okay, so basically, I went to audition by myself, amateur night, Wednesday night in San Francisco, and I was 20 at the time. I wasn't even legal, of legal drinking age, so I thought I could only go to a nude club to work because I was under 21.
Exactly.
And they don't serve alcohol. So I went, and I had this white, platinum white, almost like gray. Wig that I wore because I didn't want anyone to run into me. Bro, it was so fucking awkward and embarrassing. I knew people probably knew it was a wig.
Oh my God.
And all I remember is sitting in this room with all these other girls that are going to audition, and the house mom, the lady that basically runs the whole thing, she's like, okay, ladies, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go on stage. First song, just dance. Second song, we want you to take your top off. Third song, you're going to get full butt naked, right? And as she's saying this, I'm slowly looking over. And this specific strip club had stadium seating. So it was the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. And that was my first ever time in a strip club. I had never stepped foot in a strip club till that night.
So you never
ever
seen how they dance, never seen the moves?
I went on YouTube, but no.
It's not the same.
But I'll show you the move that I saw when I looked out that fucking window. I saw a girl on the pole jerking off the pole.
Don't tell me you did it.
Let me tell you. Let me finish my story. So she was jerking off the pole, going up and down, basically. And I'm just like, I can't do this. I can't fucking do this. I literally dipped out of there as quick as possible, went home. The next morning, woke up and was like, I didn't go through with it, but I'm going to feel weird if I don't at least try. Like, if I don't get hired at a place, okay. I tried, and we'll see what's next for me. But I want to at least know that I tried. Right. So I ended up calling some clubs around San Francisco, ones that were not nude, topless, but they had alcohol. Okay. And I was like, hey, I'm not 21. I turned 21 in a couple months. Do you guys still allow, people under 21 to work there? And they were like, yeah. The first one I called, yeah, you just have to wear a wristband. So I was like, okay, when can I come in and audition? And they were like, just come in during the day on Saturday or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I go in while they're like open on Saturday afternoon, day shift. And I audition at this club, and I end up getting hired for some reason. I don't know why. In my first ever podcast episode, I kind of go over like the whole thing, but he ended up hiring me because he said that I was cute and I had potential.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So if you're cute, vibrant, got potential, they're going to hire you.
Yeah, but I was scared out of my fucking mind. And I ended up just going through with it. I worked in San Francisco day shift for like a good 2 months. Once I turned 21, I started to transition. I was pretty good on day shift, like once I got the hang of it. And they didn't really want me going into night shift because they wanted me on day shift. So I ended up getting a job at another club down the street because all the strip clubs in San Francisco are kind of like right next to each other. Right. And I worked there after day shift. So I was hustling. I was working like day and night, and then I was driving back to Sacramento every day. And then I was driving there in the morning like a fucking 11 a.m. to get to a damn strip club, right? And then long story short, I meet this lady while I'm working in the day. She comes in with her husband, and she used to do makeup for a club in Las Vegas, a really big club. She was like, you need to be in Vegas. She's like, if you make less than $1,000 in a night in Vegas on a fucking Tuesday, you're going to be pissed. And I was like, really? There's like people that make that much money there? So from there, I ended up going to Vegas for a weekend at the end of 2018, making like $2,000 my first night. And I was like, oh, I'm moving here.
So you made $2,000 the first night in Vegas?
Yes.
First night?
First night.
Damn.
It was a Saturday. It was like,
was it stage?
It was like 2,500.
Between stage and VIP?
Huh?
Was it between stage and VIP?
Just VIP. Oh, that's all I had was VIP that night. It was fucking nuts. I had hour and a half room with one guy, his buddy, and a girl, like another stripper. And she was experienced. She was older. So she fucking ran the whole show, and she made sure we got paid. And I was like, lit. Like I had already made $1,000 just from that. And then I had this bachelor party come in. I ended up going up to one of the guys. Friend paid me $100 just to dance on him for like 2 songs. So I danced on him. And then his friend ended up wanting to go to the room. We were there for 2 hours. And then I had to go catch a flight because I only got to work one night. My first night, I fucking thought that I needed my birth certificate, so I had it overnighted. And then I go to the like sheriff's department to get my sheriff's card, which is like what you need to work in Vegas. And they're like, you don't need your birth certificate, you just need your passport, which I already had. So I missed out on Friday night. I only got to work Saturday, and then I had to go out of the country on Sunday. So I only got to work one night, but making making like over 2,000. I was like, oh, I'm moving here. So next month.
Most make like maybe 500 in that night, maybe 600.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, especially being in the beginning.
Vegas, hell yeah. I was only in it for like 5 months at that time.
Exactly. They don't make that in the 5 months, no.
Yeah. So that's kind of like how it all came about. And I lived in Vegas for a year. And Vegas is absolutely like the best market that I've ever been in. I've been all over. But I ended up moving to Texas anyway, even though I was already in Vegas doing really well, because I wanted to try something different. I knew that the money in Texas wasn't going to be the same as Vegas, which it definitely isn't. But I was like, I'm not going to let money hold me back from like going and exploring and going to different places. So I lived in Dallas. Excuse me. And then I ended up moving back to Vegas because I was like, I was going to Vegas every month. And plus there was a fucking pandemic. I moved to Dallas right before the pandemic, which is good because Texas opened up first. Vegas didn't open up for like another year after that, like completely. So I was like, okay, Texas held me, like it kept me good. Until and I ended up fucking coming across Austin when I did a little strip trip with one of my friends. In Austin, Texas, bro, like the money in Austin is almost as good as Vegas, and it's not open 24 hours, and you're still making fucking bank. Austin was great. So like Austin and Las Vegas are my favorite places that I've worked. But yeah, I was all over the country. I was traveling. I still was building my business. So the business wasn't a lie. The only thing that was a lie was my job. But mind you, I kept it from everybody. My parents didn't know. My best friend since 3rd grade didn't know.
You
Anyone.
did a good job.
I know, right? Like Hannah fucking Montana.
Right, poker face.
Yeah, right? See, there you go. But everything else was true. But it was like my own private thing that I just wanted to keep to myself. And then September of 2022, a few months ago, I ended up quitting. That was like, I threw this big retirement party in Vegas. I invited all my closest friends. I'm sorry, I didn't invite you. I should have invited you. I don't know why I didn't. I wasn't thinking. I was just like thinking about like my closest girlfriends, and then some of them brought their boyfriends or whatever. So, and then all my friends in Vegas. But I just wanted people that like have known me for the longest that just that never knew.
Yeah, that supported you.
Yeah. So I was like,
that's lit.
shit's fucking crazy, right?
2022, so that was the last time, huh?
Yeah. Last time I was a little tempted.
So was that when you told me you quit your job?
Yep.
But that was the job.
That was the job. I quit that job.
Hey, I'm gonna commend you. Like, hey.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, hey, shit. I mean, and that's another thing
but
too.
It's still commendable, you know. You huddled down. You did a job. Like I tell people, when you go into the industry, a lot of people when they look at strippers, they look at it in a negative connotation, and it's like, look at it as a job. If you have a goal in mind, what you're trying to do, use it as a vehicle and tool. That's what you have to do. Some people may see it as unethical, unmoral, and all these different things, but if you have what you're trying to do in mind, that's all that really matters, and I think I can respect at the end of the day. I can't respect the one who's just going for the parties, the funness of it, the lifestyle. That's not respected. But if you can say, hey, this is going to be a job, I'm going to do my job, stack my dough so I can invest in like you're doing Airbnbs and stuff like that and other business ventures, by all means, do what you got to do. You know, people not paying, you're paying your bills, others are not. So when I think of people talking about what is going on when they're not paying that person's bills, you have no right to say. So I commend you. So the fact that you did it 4 years in, handled your business, built this business up on the side of the amount of Airbnbs you have, that's commendable. And so I commend you on that 2022.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that. And it's crazy because one of my good girlfriends that works in the club, she's, I think maybe a year older than me, but I was telling her about how I was leaving. And a lot of the girls, when I would tell them I was leaving, a lot of them were like, oh, good, like, I'm happy for you, which they...
But you did it in the right time, 4 years, that's dope. Because I'm telling you, I can tell you the story of mine. It's like, they stay in it forever. They stay in it for a long time. It'd be 35, 40 years.
Talk to me about that. So tell me your ties to the strip club, Corbin, because I almost forgot about. Oh shit! I need to do the sign. This is why I didn't want to do the sign yet. So the podcast is Secure the Bag because, and I'm gonna tell you why. But hold on, we're gonna do the sign right now, okay? So I just want. It's a stripper on the sign, so I didn't want you to be like, "What the hell is this shit?" And I hope this isn't like going against your brand.
No, not at all.
I'm pretty sure you talked about this on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is part of your background.
Yeah, most definitely this gets the brand. I'm like I said, everything. Shoot, strippers are entrepreneurs in my eyes. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Right here, right? Oh wait, I need the plug. There we go. Sorry, it's a bitch. I need a better place to put it in, but this is.
There's one wall socket right there. So if you want to swap the cord right here, the white one to the left, and then put that one right there. Yeah. There you go. We are live in action.
Does it look good? Okay. See, you see the little stripper?
Yeah.
I might fine tune this in the future, but for now, it'll do.
Hey, I fuck with it.
Thanks. Okay. So I know we're going to talk about your background, but the reason why it's called STB, Secure the Bag, is because I would work all the time, and in the club when I don't have anyone to talk, like no one knew what I did, right? So I had no one to really talk to, and I'm not even the type of person to vent to someone because I really don't see any value in it. Like I feel like people at the end of the day really don't care.
I learned from my experience you can't vent and tell people your problems, what you're going to do, because they'll use it against you, and then they'll start talking about you in the street like, oh, this person's that, oh, they don't do this, and it kind of goes against you, and then now you're not respected because you shared your personal, most deepest information with people who thought was close to you. So
exactly.
Me as myself, I'm learning you can't really share as much. Share the ones who really support you, who has your best interest. Those people I say share your information with, but people who don't have your best interest known as associates, because we get associates and friends mixed up. A friend's going to add value. A friend's going to help you in your hardest times. They're going to come out their way to show you that you're valuable and they mean a lot to you. The ones who don't do that, there's now just called associates, because now they just want to hang out with you, turn up with you. You know, they'll call you here and it's like, oh, what you doing? But if they're not saying, hey, what's going on today? You know, are you working on what you say you're going to do? You know, talk to me. You know, how are you feeling today? You know, how's your, you know, your mental compass? You know, all that's important. And people don't ask those questions. Those are not friends.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't like I said, I don't really like venting to people. Something like this, like, I have no problem going all in and saying everything that's happened, because I can own that. Anything that I share that I like am out there with, I can own it. I don't care who asks me a question about it, I'll answer. When it comes to personal things, like, for example, I'll just be in the club. Like, I've had so many situations happen over the 4 years. Like, I worked a lot, right? When I first started, I worked 12 days on average per month. So not even half the month, right? I barely worked. Like, I made money and I just was like fucking chilling, right? Yeah. But then after the pandemic, the 2 years following, I was going hard. And I was like trying to just do as much as I could. And so many, like I said, so many situations happened. I got better at what I did. And because of that, I had more money stories, more situations in the club, more politics in the club. So I had no one really to talk to. And plus I didn't want to. Right. But what I would do every night, because I wanted to like somehow vent, I would go into my computer, onto my Google Docs, and I would put the date of like that night that I worked. I'd put down how much I made that night, like to keep track. And then I'd talk about the night, because half the time I was drunk, right? So I'm like, I'm over here going fucking hard in these descriptions. I'm like, that fucking dickhead, blah, blah, blah. So how this podcast came about is it's more so a solo podcast, but I love having people on because I love to talk to people. And I think this is an interesting topic, especially for people that are like on the younger side, you know, or that are in the industry.
It makes things more engaging.
Yeah, for sure. But basically I would come on the podcast and read, like I went back 4 years, because I started back in 2019. I started reading like the first ever things that I wrote, and we would dissect it and talk about it, and just like, you see how much money like from then, and then as we continue to grow the podcast, they're going to see the now, or the more recent money and everything. So sorry. But yeah, so that's kind of how it came about. And at the end of every single like little blog, I put secure the bag. You're like, this is so fucking corny. It is corny, but
I mess with it. You know, you're securing the bag.
Yeah, you know, and you were securing the bag back in the day, Corbin. So let's talk about you in the strip club.
I'm all about securing the bag.
You were a male stripper?
No, I was never a male stripper. I just used to beat her a lot. You know, like I said, my son's mom in the beginning, she became a stripper, you know, when my son was about 2 years old. And you know,
in Sacramento?
Yeah, I'll see. Did she start in Sac? I think so. Or was it? It was either Frisco. She was all over. She was in Sacramento, Frisco, Reno. She was in Reno for the longest. I think, yeah, Reno. Actually,
Reno's a good market?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how the market is in Reno, because I'm not counting their money, you know. So, but no, for me, I've been in that industry, you know. For me, at one point, I actually kind of loved the industry at one point.
Why?
It's just that quickness of getting money, because, you know, when you're hustling, you grew up just hustling all the time and trying to get to the bag, you're going to go where you think the bag is. It's strippers, it's girls, you know. They go make the money and supposedly bring it back to you type thing. And then y'all was like, oh, let's get this bag together. You know, you doing your thing. I'm going to do my thing and bring our bags together. So that was just the life. So, you know, I used to promote, like, yeah, go talk to that guy. Yeah, go, you know, because I'm a guy. So I was to give her the guy perspective of, this is how you're supposed to, you know, say it to them. It's going to get their attention. You know, you got to act like you like them. You know, you got to act this way. It's all acting, you know. It's all subconsciously thinking that this guy can really get with you, you know, in a way. And not just say, oh, you want to go for a dance? That don't work. You really have to play your part in how we talking and building rapport. You kind of got to build rapport with them and be like, oh, you know, let's talk to them regular. Because if you talk to them regular and then really start feeling like, oh, man, you look cute. They're going to be like, oh, what, for real? Yeah, I'm feeling you. You should come, you should get to dance, you know, shoot. You know, we can talk a little bit, you know, and then they be okay. And they go back and they blow a bag on you. So, yeah, so no, it was cool, you know, but after a while, I started to, you know, get out that lifestyle and really try to do things differently. I started to learn, you know.
Was there any specific, like, shifting moment where you were like, I need to get the fuck out of here?
It was never no shifting moments. For me, I hate a lot of strippers' mentality. You know, it's all about using you, getting over on you. You know, they don't listen. You know, it's just the way they think. You know, that's why I respect a real stripper who handles it like a job, because she's respected. You know, she's a woman. She's gonna handle her business. But a lot of these strippers, they get into coke, they get into all these different things. And then their mind is
fucking cokeheads.
Cokeheads, right? That coke, and then it's doing all that stuff. You know, and it just takes their mind over. Then they just get lost in this get money. So if it's not about getting money, they don't want to talk to you. If it's not about getting money, they don't want to just hang out with you just to get to know one another. It's not about that anymore. Now it's just get money. Now you hanging out with them, and everything they see is a dollar sign. Every guy that sees a dollar sign said, you know, it was one time we was buying some stripper shoes, whatever. You know, she was getting some shoes, whatever. And it was some older white guy in there. And she's like, watch what I'm about to do. I didn't know she was going to go do it. She went up to him to start talking in front of me. And I'm like, we were together at the time. I'm like, what are you doing? I was like, okay, that's one thing outside my eye. And I tell you go do it. But to do it right in front of me, just, you know, I didn't respect it.
Did she end up getting the shoes paid for?
I forgot. It's so long ago. But I just remember how I felt. And I was like, after that, I was like, yeah, I don't think, because we was trying to work it back out. You know, we wasn't physically together at that time. And she was showing me, but you know, I just liked the lifestyle. But when she started showing me, I was like, I don't think I can actually date a stripper because of that. Because how would I feel? I'm out minding my business, doing my stuff, you know, how I'm getting to the bag, you know, and you over here doing this, you know, what I know you're going to do. You know, you could be going back to his room and stuff like that, you know. At the time, I didn't care in the beginning. But after a while, when we really start to learn yourself, you start to see how the game really is, you start to see that that's why dudes don't respect strippers. It's really about a cash transaction. It's not about cash. We kick it to the curb.
Yeah, for sure. And it's fucked up, you know, but I know that mentality, but I also was in a relationship for like the first year and a half that I was dancing. I started dancing when my ex and I started talking. And even when we were like pretty serious, I had went out to go see him. And I was like, I want to make some money while I'm out here. And he was still in school. So while he was in school, I went to go audition at some clubs in the city. And when I got hired at one of them, I ended up going out that night. I was like, hey, one of my girls is like down in the city, like she's visiting. I'm gonna go hang out with her. He's like, you got friends out here? He lives all the way in New York, right? He's like, you don't have any fucking friends in New York? I'm like, yeah, I do. I have my friend that's visiting. He's like, all right, whatever. Like he's hella chill, right? He didn't care. I ended up going, and I'm like, oh, I'll be back by like 10. You know, I got to the club at like 4 p.m. I'm an early bird. Like, I get there early. Like, I like to see everything kind of unfold in front of me. I like to start, like to ease into it, you know? I like to get the money early. But I know that a lot of money comes late. So I ended up going to a room with this guy. I think he was like my age, maybe a little bit older. He was like 24. I was 21 at the time. And not even. I was 20. They let me work as a 20-year-old there. And he was like, I think he was in like banking or something, like some young banker. And he was like, I'm going to spend all my savings on you. We end up going up to a room. He pays $800 for an hour. And then, he ends up paying $800 for an hour. And he's ready for a second hour. And I'm like, I have to go. I had turned down another $800, potentially probably more, because my boyfriend at the time kept calling me and was like, where the fuck are you, dude? Like, it was like I don't remember. I think it was like 10 or 11. But the manager looked at me crazy. She was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're leaving? I'm like, I have to go.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of times in the strip game, it's like a lot of girls who have boyfriends, they're pimps or they're trappers because of how you need two individuals doing their own thing, because you got one legally making money, like, you know, whatever, and you got your girl. It's always going to play in his head. He's always going to be thinking, then there's going to be problems. So anytime you try to go out, he's going to say it's cool, but in the back of his mind, it's not cool. Yeah. So like the girls, like I said, when they do have boyfriends, they're trappers, because he out in another state trapping, whatever, but he may got another side person on the side, you know, vice versa. The girl on the other end, you know what I mean? They have a mutual understanding, you know, but that's just usually how it goes. So it don't really end too well at the end of the day. That's why.
Yeah, for sure. And, I ended up telling my ex, like, me and him were together for a year and a half. He obviously needed to know. He was super understanding. He's one of the only two people that I ever knew. It was him and another girl that's one of my longtime friends that also strips. So that's the only reason why I told her, was because she did it too. And she kept my secret as well. So both of them were really fucking solid during those 4 years. No matter how many ups and downs I had with them, they never told a soul, and I respect them and I love them for that. And to go back to the whole pimp thing, I was in the industry, so I saw it all the time, right? Especially in Las Vegas. And I remember I was telling one of the girls that I invited to my retirement party that was a dancer. I was like, hey, like, I'm having this retirement party. I'm quitting stripping. And me and her have made a lot of money together. And she's like, what? And I was like, I'm retired. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm done dancing. And she was basically done too. Like, she had met a dude and she was like, I'm done. But she was like, I thought you had a pimp this entire time. How can you quit? And I was like, I don't have a fucking pimp. Why would you think that? And she's like, because you worked like all the time. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I fucking love this shit. Like, I loved what I did. It wasn't just the money.
Don't have that type, don't have the cars, don't got the houses. They blow all their money. You know what I mean? That's where the pimp comes in handy, because he's the more financial literate person, telling you how to flow with the money, to where he takes the money, now you get allowance, you know, type thing, to help you not blow your money. But the fact that you did that on your own,
the only thing is, I hate that shit, because I like what I fucking like, and I want to be able to get whatever the fuck I want to get. You know what I mean? So it's like, I like owning what I produce, in a sense. So having someone else, I read some fucking finance books. I know how to save, and I know how to invest, and I know how to, you just got to educate yourself, right? And I think what also really helped me was nobody influenced me to do it. I made the decision on my own. I feel like even if people try to tell me to do something, people can tell me to do something, but I'm never going to do it until I decide to do it. I have to feel like it's my idea, in a sense, or it's like my decision that I made for myself. No one had any part.
No, most definitely. Because you ask any stripper, every stripper, either their friends are already stripping, so they decide to do it, or the friends like, oh, you should strip, you want extra money, or a pimp's like, yeah, you should strip, you got a nice body, you should go up there and shake something, you know, boo, boo. That's usually how it goes. So the fact that you did it on your own, people don't usually make their own decisions, you know. That's why I say real entrepreneurs know how to make quick decisions on the spot, because they don't have to ask Mary or Joe, should I do this? They just make the decision, see if it works. If it doesn't work, they keep it pushing. So
yeah, definitely one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. There's a few like very key decisions that I made in my life that really made a difference, but this is for sure one of the best life shapers, because it just changed my entire mindset. It changed the way that I connect with people. It changed the way that I look at money. It definitely opened up my eyes to all the possibilities of what the future could hold. And I miss it every day. Like, I think about it every day. It's almost fucking traumatic. Like, I'm like,
oh, you miss the life?
Bruh. Yeah. Well, I don't miss the life. I don't miss the politics. I don't miss the politics, and I don't miss the life,
so
in a sense.
What was the main thing that you liked most about stripping? What was the thing that
besides the money? The
like,
people.
The people. So the conversations?
Yes. So
how they're funny, huh?
I was talking to one of my friends the other day about this, and he was like, so what do you like most besides the money? I'm like, the people. He's like, the people? Like the guys that would come in? I'm like, yeah, like the guys that would come in. Because not because I got money from them, but more so because of the conversations that I had. The ability to literally, every night, I wouldn't just go in with a money goal, but I would literally just like go from conversation to conversation until I really met that person that I connected with. And it's my mindset is, and some people are going to resonate with it, and I feel like a lot of people aren't. But basically, let's say I'm sitting down with someone and we connect so well. Like, we're just having a long conversation. It could be like 30 minutes long and he hasn't tipped me anything, right? Let's just say he hasn't tipped me. And usually guys, like if they want to show you like appreciation, they'll buy you a drink, they'll tip you, whatever. He won't have to tip me a dime. I will continue to sit with him and talk to him and have this good conversation, because I'm like, if I don't make a fucking penny tonight, which doesn't happen, but if I don't make a penny tonight, I learned something, and that's more valuable to me than a dollar. And I've had so many nights like that, and not only like does it help shift my night into the right direction, like let's just say this guy doesn't get a room, he doesn't even get a fucking dance, doesn't tip me nothing. I'm like, okay, you're cheap as fuck, but I had a great like conversation. I wouldn't say that, but I had a great conversation. Like, you know what, either way, like that conversation meant more to me than you know. Like, I will wait all night. I'll even tell the guy, I'll be like, I've been waiting to have a conversation like this all night, and I'll just explain to them like, we'll just continue the conversation and whatever. But it would always kind of set me up to make money. And then from there, I was just kind of off to the races. I'm like, okay, great. I had a good conversation. I learned something. Let's go make this money, you know? And then from there, all the conversations just started like flowing. And from there, it's just a money making thing. But definitely the conversations, being able to just have fun. Like, I just had a fucking blast. Like, it was so much fun. There was a lot of ups and downs.
Of course.
But absolutely, 100% favorite thing, the people. The conversations, the guys that I still, like, I have this secondary number. And it's a second number through an app. It's not a fucking Google number, but it's like something else. And it has like a whole ass voicemail. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can text on there, call, whatever. And this is where I used to do like private parties. Like, I would do private parties, mostly only in Vegas, because Vegas is more you know, secure. But I every single guy that ever spent money like in a room, not just a random lap dance, but like they spent money in a room, I'd make sure I got their number, so in case they came back. And I used to have a rule against that. Like, I'll never give anyone my personal number, which I never did. I only gave them this fake number for business purposes in a sense. And the only reason why my mindset shifted to start giving out my number, which I was always scared to do, was the pandemic. I was like, why am I so scared to give out my number? Why am I so scared to do private parties? Well, number one, because you don't know these people. Sure. But number two, legal reasons, right? Sure. And me, I don't solicit. I don't fuck for money. I don't suck dick for money. I never did. That was a very, very strict rule that I had because my mindset going into stripping was everybody has sex for money. They're all prostitutes. Exactly. They're all cokeheads. Someone's going to try to rape me in the back room. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was literally my mindset because I had never even stepped inside of a strip club. I had no idea what to expect.
Sex in their life, so that's the lifestyle they want to live is just sex. And, you know, so really at the end, it's about the money, but then it's about just getting themselves off at the end of the day. Yeah,
absolutely. And that's what my mindset was. I was like, okay, I have these rules in place. Some of them consisted of never do any drugs, never give anyone my real name, never give away my number, never do a private party, never do anything for money that is like a sexual favor, never take it that far. Right. And never did any of those things. And the reason why I didn't want to do private parties is because of those concerns, right? Like the legal aspect. Like even if I'm not doing anything illegal, technically isn't it soliciting? Because I would be offering them to like go and give them dances. But they could say whatever they want to say, right? And then I could get in trouble or arrested, whatever. So I'm like, okay, what if I can create a company where I can have girls, including myself, do private parties, have a guy like actually like be able to verify identity, take payment, and have security? I'm like, okay, I would do that. So that's when I started creating a company around it. So when I went back to Vegas, I started a company to where we do private parties, but there's always security. It's totally legal. We have it licensed, and I have contractors. Yeah. So I was like, if I'm gonna do this shit, I want to take it serious because I really believe in doing things the right way and making sure that these girls are protected, but also they're not fucking dumb and try to suck some dick. You know what I mean? Because I want these girls to make money. Like I want to make money, right? Like the standard is the standard, and I'm going to hold people to it. So that was kind of like my biggest concerns when I first got in. But favorite thing is absolutely the people. And that's why I said, like, I have these people's numbers in case they do come back. If they want to go to the strip club and get some dancers, great. But if they want some private parties and some fun, even better. Yeah, for sure.
Securing the bag, like you said.
Securing the bag. Yeah. But one of my good friends, she's out at in a different state, and she's at one of my old clubs in Texas, and I fucking love that club. And I just see these videos, and I'm like, I miss it so much, and I more so miss it because, I've gotten fired from every club I've ever worked at.
For real? You gotten fired?
Yep, I've gotten fired. I haven't quit. I've gotten fired, and I'm gonna tell you why.
That's crazy.
And why? Let me ask you this: why do you think I got fired, Corbin? Like first thing that comes to mind. Why do you think I would get fired?
Maybe your mouth.
Okay. What else?
Maybe you popped off on somebody.
What else?
You know, that's trying you. 'Cause that's usually what happens. You know, like the reason I was naming all them different cities that she was working in. She was always popping off and always starting fights and problems, so she had to keep quitting. Getting fired and kept going to a different place. So if I had to think, maybe something similar to that. I couldn't think of any other reason.
That's the exact reason. I would always have something happen, and it's because of the liquor flows, okay? I understand that. But I like to tell myself that even if I was sober, I would have reacted the same way because this person would have done the same stupid thing.
No, most definitely.
But it's like someone's drunk and they do something stupid. I just so happen to be drunk and defend myself. But it's because I'm drunk, or it's because, like, you know, I took it too far, whatever.
And these girls purposely try people too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'll purposely do something, purposely take your client and stuff like that. So then it's like at this point you're defending yourself, but in the strip club world, they don't want that. It's more so you have it on the outside.
Yeah.
Now, you know, now you're in the club. Now you look like the culprit that's starting the problem, even though you didn't start the problem. You just finished the problem.
Yeah. You see, that's what I'm saying. And I'm glad you get that. But it's bad for business, right?
It is, yeah, it's bad for business. It's just like if you're at a club and people are fighting, they don't care about the fight. Essentially, it's more so that you're fighting in a club. If you go fight outside, they're going to watch it themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
And essentially, you know what I mean? But the fact you're in their club and establishment where you could potentially mess up their business, you can't mix that two together, so you got to go.
Yeah, and I've been it's been like that when I was even before I was a stripper. Like McDonald's, my first ever job, fired. Buffalo Wild Wings, I was about to get fired, but I ended up putting in my 2 weeks.
But see, that's the thing. You're an entrepreneur. You're a business. Like,
that's the thing. Yeah.
We can't get told what to do. Like, even me, if someone tells me what to do, I take it kind of personal. You know what I mean? It's just because I know what I'm trying to do. And then you tell me I can't do and I can't go here. I don't want to hear that.
Agreed. 100%. And it in an industry like that, like even a commission-based job, like in a sense, you kind of are your own business, right? Like you're getting a commission, like you show up when you want to show up, you work when you want to work, you make the money that you want to make. Awesome. Loved that. That was one of my favorite parts as well. But there's also politics. I've gotten in an argument with the girl who started it. I just egged her on a little bit more. And because of that, she had been there longer. I ended up getting fired. I was fired for almost a year from that club. Because of that. And then other situations where I've had to like go and fight for my job back, whatever, because I like the clubs that I like. It's very hard. There's only like 1 or 2 good clubs in every city. You don't want to be at the clubs that aren't the best when you know you can get hired at the best, right? Or you've been at the best. And I believe I can make money anywhere, but I would rather be at a club where I feel comfortable, where most of the money comes, where the girls are like, you know, good looking. Like I want to be around good looking girls. I don't always want to be the best looking one in the room. I want to be around other good looking girls because I like competition. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's not even about the look, it's about the mouth, right? So
it's really all about the mouth. You got a mouthpiece. An ugly person could look like a dime piece. You got a mouthpiece. It's just the personality.
I've seen it. Yeah. So many times.
Personality speaks volume. You got personality, energy, and you got a mouthpiece. That's
crazy.
all someone needs on both ends.
Yeah. But I just told myself in 2021 in September, I had just come off of like, someone was paying me a lot of money to hang out with them on a consistent basis. And I was making so much money that I really barely even went into the club for like a good 2 months. Like I was barely working because I was making good money from this one person. And when I went back into one of the clubs that I had worked at, they have this strict rule where you can't leave until it's been a certain amount of hours, like 6 hours. And I ended up leaving early. But mind you, I had a lot of like ticks on my record. Like, oh, she mouthed off to this person. Oh, she left early this time. Oh, she gave the manager attitude, whatever, right? And they're like, this is the last straw. Like, you left early. We're not bringing you back. You've had fucking chance after chance. And this is a good club, right? Like, a lot of celebrities go there. Like, a lot of money comes in there. And I was fired for like a year, right? But the thing is, when I got fired from that club, I was like, something has to change. Like, I can't keep doing this. Like, my mindset and my emotions in the club are so up and down. Like, because I'm always walking on eggshells in clubs because I never know when I'm going to get fired or if I'm going to get fired, right? Because of something fucking stupid. Right. So I'm like, I need to take this next year and fucking hustle. By year 4, on my 4-year anniversary, I'm done. Like, I'm done no matter what. It's non-negotiable. And that's why I worked so hard. So the following year, I worked at like one of the other clubs in Las Vegas I worked at because I was fired from my first one, and then I was fired from that other one that was the 6-hour thing. And I ended up going to this other one, worked there, got fired there because they thought that because I wasn't like working with the managers, like I wasn't breaking them off when they didn't put me on. That they were like, oh, like, we don't think you're a good fit. Because in that club, it's all about like managers putting you on and you breaking the managers off. But me, I work alone most of the time. Like, I like to work with managers, but if you put me on some good shit, but the thing about me is I'm going to talk to everyone. So you better hurry the fuck up and help me get something before I get to them first. Because I'm not going to break you off if you didn't put me on that person. Yeah. So I'm like, that one was just like, whatever. But I ended up telling myself, I want to get hired back at all the good clubs that I've ever liked. Right. And I was like, let's say I get fired from this one, but then I get rehired at this one. Okay, then I get fired from that one. Well, then I get rehired at that one. So it's like, it's kind of like a give and take, right? So I'm like, no, I want to get rehired at all of them. And I want to be able to pick and choose where I go. And I want to leave on top. I want to make the most money I've ever made. I want to have the best month I've ever had. I want to have the best week I've ever had. I want to have good relationships. I want to be fucking solid. And that year was so hard. That last year, year 4, especially the 6 months leading up to the end.
That's why they called it senior year.
Woo! Bro, I graduated though. And I'm like, that's another reason why I'm like, I don't want to go back because I don't want to mess up how good the end was. Right. There's only one club, and that's the one in Texas, where I was gone for a year, got rehired, had a situation with a girl while I was visiting out there in the summer of 2022. Got fired again, never got rehired because I was only in Texas for like a couple weeks and they weren't going to let me back within those couple weeks. So I kind of left on a bad note there, and I almost feel like I regret that. but it is what it is. I'm so grateful for that club. And I think about like how much I hate that I didn't get to leave on top in a sense there. But I always have an opportunity to go back and just talk to them and thank them. And that's the biggest thing I want to do, regardless of the politics that these managers played and how they may act sometimes. Right. I'm grateful for a good amount of it. That club was a fucking blessing for sure. Like I said, very close to Vegas money, and just really good experiences overall. So yeah, I think about it a lot. And I'm so grateful for it. But I know that at the end of the day, like, there's so many bigger and better things. And if definitely. I keep thinking about the past and potentially going back, I'm never going to get to move forward.
Exactly. Can't live in the past. Got to go forward.
Exactly.
So, as you should.
Exactly.
So we going forward, securing the bag. 2023 is that year, call it the golden year.
Yeah. You're calling it the golden year.
The golden year. If you don't make money in 2023, this is the best time. The best time to make money is when it's the down times.
What are some of the most popular businesses that you're hearing people talk about right now?
Man, most popular one that I'm in, wholesaling, real estate. That's number one. Number two, Airbnbs. It's Turo.
Turo still?
Yeah, of course.
You think a lot of people are still in Turo?
Hell yeah.
Really?
Turo's lucrative. It's good. It's just a lot of work and a lot of headache with it, but it's good. If you got a fleet, you got more than 5 cars, it's good. It's a good business. It's a lot of work in it, maintaining it, washing it, delivering the cars you have to. I tell people, you got more than 3 cars, you might want to get somebody to help you manage them, because this with one alone is a lot. But it's still, it's a good business, People always want rentals, and it's like, it's the only business you can go to pick a car you kind of want by looking at the cars. You go to Hertz, you don't know what you're getting, You go to Enterprise, you don't know what you're getting. You go to Turo, you be like, oh shoot, I'm going to Miami. Oh, they got Lambos, they got McLarens, they got Rolls Royce. Any car you want is on there, and you just pick, and you pull up, and the car's ready for you.
Yeah.
So Turo's good, and all the other ones, they're starting to die, but those are like the top right now that I'm hearing a lot about.
So like arbitrage, but also wholesaling, real estate.
Yeah, all that stuff. So it's still hot and popping. So
yeah.
Just got to know how to play the game right and stay quick to learn and adjust through the markets. A lot of times when it's down, people like to pull out, but it's just, it's got to adjust the situation a little bit. But no, those 3 right there are the top right now, I would say, as far as like businesses to get into in 2023, because especially with this real estate market, man, everything that used to be what it was high is low now. So sellers get hit in the head where they're realizing, hey, it's time to sell. We got to sell, so get in or get out.
Yeah, for sure.
So take advantage of this time.
Yeah, absolutely. The golden year. Should we end it like that?
The golden year.
Ooh.
The golden year. Shoot,
I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure to be on. I got hit with a surprise. I wasn't expecting, this to be the one, but hey, we're here.
Yeah, we're here. We're making it happen. So I appreciate you. I'm glad you're still my friend.
All loves, always.
After this. But all right. Thank you, Corbin. Of course, guys, like, subscribe. Make sure you comment below. Next week, we're definitely going to be going over some of the stories, taking it back to those money-making days. And I got a good one. This was before Feet Finder was a thing, so I'm about to tell y'all about this one. All right, thanks, guys.